Hey everyone, this is Jules. So I made this for my friend Laurie, who is more art from the heart here on YouTube, and she's one of my bestest friends, her and Melissa, and that's Melissa over there. Hi Melissa, hi Laurie, and I wanted to make this is one of the presents that I want to make for Laurie for our swap. And I am extremely slow at finishing up projects and things. I still have a layout that I was supposed to send out last year to a friend of mine. And for actually was October's build a page for last year. And oh my gosh, that's horrible. I still have it. But anyways, I have different people that I've lined up for to do swaps with or to send a gift to. And I'm not sure who to start with first. I guess it just depends on the mood of creating, where I'm at. So I'm in the middle of 3 or 4 different projects for different people. Like Barb, who is Barbara Martineau on YouTube. Girl, I've not forgotten you. I still have your stuff still sitting here. I'm just not done with it. Sometimes I just can't do my projects. So anyways, actually Lori swap is like a year. I'm a year late actually in doing hers. We never really set a date, but I did share the gift that she sent me here, and I'll actually put her my video of some of the projects that she did for me. So anyways, this is for Laurie, and Laurie, you probably already opened the gift and have already gotten this by the time this is airing, but let me show you the sketch of the Build-A-Page for December for Prima. So that is the layout sketch by Magda Bolinska, although we can interpret it however we want to. So I actually recorded myself doing it, and I think we'll probably just roll into that. But I am going to point out a couple things that I did not show on the video, which is the addition of the enamel dots here. And these are, but I don't have any of Prima's. I don't even know if Prima has any, but they are by My Mind's Eye, the enamel dots. I got these at Craft Warehouse quite a bit ago, but I love the colors that were on. There was a gray and light pink, and then this lipstick looking one, and this hot pink cotton candy-ish. And so I used a lighter pink for this layout. And also the addition of this little bow, which is actually something that I bought from Laurie, and she gifted me with one and I bought another one. This is some of her beautiful twine, and she sells this in her Art Fire store. And I'll put a link to her store down below so you guys can take a peek at that. But I've used it quite a bit. Probably down halfway now, and I can't remember how many yards come in here, but anyways, I used it for this here, for that bow, and I added this little strip, this little pink strip of an arrow, and I also painted, actually I went through 4 different colors, and I didn't like any of them, and I thought, I'm just going to paint them with white gesso and then find another color to do them with. But I like it white because there's the only white that I have in here is from the cup and this flower, and actually it's kind of an off-white. There's a cream and the gears, but that's about it, and some white Prima roses that I had laying around from quite a while ago. I still have just a little bit left. So I added the gesso to that. What else did I do? And then I used some Webster's pages. What are these called? Alpha. I guess they're called storytellers. I decided to go with the pink font and the smaller ones, and then spell out the word girls here. So the title of the layout would be Us Girls. So this is a picture that I took with the girls, when we went to the beach. Actually, Laurie set it up for us. All right, you guys, thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Jule signing out of the Jule box. Bye, everyone. So I started with the Delight collection from Prima, and I pulled a lot of Prima stuff out because it was supposed to be for the Build-A-Page, but I didn't make it in time to post it for that, so I just, I'm still going to post it, so it doesn't matter. So this is the paper collection. This is the 12 by 12, and I noticed that there was a defective pad. I was supposed to get double-sided pages and 2 of each, and I didn't, so I didn't use it. But I did pull my inspiration from that page there. And what I want to do is kind of recreate something like it. So this is what I'm going to do, is do a lot of water down, make it look very blotchy, very watercolored. So I did a very watered down gesso. Then I just added some blue paint. And I did pull my paints ahead of time to see which ones I would probably use. And here I'm just spreading it all over, and I'm gonna grab a little piece, or I think it was a half of a wipey, to kind of soak up the excess, but also give it a good texture, which you'll see here. And the wipey works really well for this. So it looks super blotchy and looks really nice. And heat drying it will bring out a lot of the blue, so you can see, and you can see it kind of there, how nice and blotchy and spilled out it looks. Kind of almost like a tie-dyed. The tissue paper, white tissue paper, is like one of the best things to add some texture to a canvas or a layout or whatever when you Mod Podge it on. And I did crease some lines because that inspiration page in the blue was had some lines in it. So I did do that, add the creases, and with the brush and the glue, I tried to kind of push the tissue paper in certain areas so that it'll highlight some of the creases that I made already. So I'm kind of tacking it down, and then I'm gonna just chop off the excess there along the edges. Don't really need all of that. But the cool thing about tissue paper is that you can see through it really, really well. So I liked that. It kind of helps with toning down some of the blue, so it's not too stark blue, too bright. So here I'm just about done, and I'm gonna end up tacking all of that down and tucking in the extras that's kind of flowing on the sides, kind of tacking it down to the edges there of the canvas. I'm using Mod Podge for this. I had to add a little bit of water since I'm getting down to the bottom of it. And heat set, and just kind of show you a little bit of the texture there. So here I'm just going to tone down just a little bit more. So I just sprayed it, and I have some gesso, watered down gesso in a bottle that I use for a spray, but it kind of just splatters. It doesn't spray like misty spray, which is what I want, which is why I use it quite a bit now. So I'm just kind of testing out this color because I want to kind of give it that dingy look too, because it has a distressed tone to that one blue inspiration page from the 12 by 12. So I'm going to add some more here and kind of run along the creases and the bumps there using a paper towel or wipe. I can't remember. I use both throughout the entire project. But I'm running it through to kind of give a light dingy look. And I'm going to use some of this brown. I think this is Butter Pecan by Folk Art. Love this paint. So I'm going to water it down just a little bit. Not water it down, but I'm going to lighten it up just a little. Because again, I want to do some more dingy with this color as well. So just mixing it together, and I'm going to just paint it on and rub it around, trying to get it in the creases really well. And one important thing that I want to point out to you guys is that when I do color applications, I tend to heat set it and dry it as well as I can in between colors, because if this color stays wet and I'm using another color on top of it, it'll just blend together, and I really am trying to highlight each color that I use. So I do tend to heat set the paint and dry it really well between every color, even if it's a little similar, unless I am purposely trying to blend it somehow. So this does some really cool spillage using the spray bottle, because it still comes out pretty thick. So just looking at the pink again to make sure that that's the pink I want to go with. And I did end up watering this down. I think it's called Rose Petal by Making Memories. And here I do want to blend it because I want to give I want the colors to mix a little bit, so you can see like some of the white and the pink kind of blending and meshing together a little. I found myself bumping the camera, so I moved it over to the left side. So here's some more watered down. This is some of the same color, that Butter Pecan that I used earlier. I'm going to dingy up the white gesso and a little bit of the pink there, just a little bit, toning it down just a tad. I'm using paper towel just to pick up a little bit of the excess water. And you can kind of see how it dried really quick right there. First time I'm going to use my Chevron Mask by Prima. This is a Donna Downey design in my molding paste. And because the sketch had some elements on the bottom left and some on the top right and kind of all along the very top, I kind of want to spread this around a little bit, and I'm just going to use like one row of the chevron everywhere that I do put it. So there's one row there. I'm going to add a little bit here towards the top part. And then I'm going to go over to the other side again. Go on the top left here, doing one row again. And again, I'm using molding paste by Golden. And I do have, I do carry the sets of the palette knife sets over at thejuleboxshop.com. If you guys need a packet, it's only $1.50 for the packet of the set. I think is 6 tools. So that go to the 6x6 paper pad, pull out a bunch of different colors and different textures and things. And I'm going to cut this out here. It says a delightful day. Cut out a bunch of different sizes, strips, and distress the heck out of it. I'm going to do the same thing with the photo. And that's not a really good photo of us. I agree. We were in the wind. It was so windy, but it was such a cool day. And our hair was flying everywhere. And I think we took a couple of these, and they didn't come out very well. This is the best out of the ones that I had. So I had to use it. It was a beautiful day, a beautiful weekend, just us girls cropping and stuff. So I'm just gonna layer and adhere each following layer to build the backing and the mat for that photo. So as you saw, I did start from the very top. And then I'm going to add this little strip in the back here. It's going to tack down a couple areas. Now I didn't glue this down all the way. It's still loose. So I'm going to cover that because I'm going to end up using some of this blue. So inspired by one of the Prima designers, and I cannot remember her name. I'll have to put in the annotations here, but one of the Prima designers did her layout for the sketch, and I love how she outlined her squares and her photos and stuff, outlining it with a pop of color, and that totally inspired me to do the same thing here. And I didn't realize how high up I was, and my paper was kind of sticking off the edge, and I had to pull it down. So I had to, and I already applied the color and the paint there, but I will fix it in a second. So I just realized, like right here, that my paper was sticking out. So I'm going to pull it down just a little bit to kind of get it onto the canvas. Do a few new lines, and I'm going to try and get rid of that top line there. It's kind of high. Thank God it's on the molding paste, and I can just easily, with a wet wipey, just wipe it off, and it's kind of cleaned off there. So I'm just going to dry it up, and I did outline the arrow, the chevron there on the bottom, and I really like the texture of it. Adds tons of texture, and I love how the pop of the blues there. It just kind of complements the whole collection. So I'm just going to grab some of the embellishments that I pulled out in the beginning and just pull out some things that I think I'm going to end up using on the layout. Some fabric leaves that I do tone down with some gesso later on. I did pull one of these heart gears out, but I pull out another one later on. And I'm going to start lining this up, and you might see that it's different from the beginning of the video. I started to add the flowers at the bottom right of the photo. I ended up changing it over, and I moved it over to the left side of it. So I love these cute little puff flowers. It feels like a t-shirt material. They're so soft, and they're so cute. So I'm going to pull a layer off this one because I do like the flower, but for me it was too big for what I wanted to use it. So I do pull one out. So I'm going to use it in this cluster of flowers, I believe. And here's a button from, I think this is from the Lyric collection. That's from the Engraver collection. Some Wild Orchid Crafts flowers, some wild roses there. Just doing my little arrangement, kind of figuring out where I want to have stuff. And these little glasses are from the Michael's dollar bin. They are, looks like compressed wood is what it looks like. And they're so cute. Perfect for this layout. It's just super girly. It was such a fun little embellishment. I just loved it. I couldn't wait to use it. And one of the other textured elements that I use is masking tape. Just grab some regular masking tape. I didn't alter it at all. I just stuck it in some areas to kind of break up
some of the paper, and kind of using like washi tape, but it's just a nice creamy color that goes really well with the collection. So I cut in pieces and added in different areas. Here's some cheesecloth that I have. This is in a cream. This is one that I've had quite a while ago. I do carry the white cheesecloth very inexpensively over at the juleboxshop.com. If you guys are looking for some, I do carry them. It's hard to find sometimes, and it's very, very inexpensive. So I'm just going to cut it in 2 pieces, and I'm going to add one to the bottom left of this cluster of paper and layers, and another one at the top right. And another element that I wanted to use was something circular, round, to kind of break up the squareness of everything that's going on here. So I used some little small standard size eyelets, 3/16 of an inch eyelets, and I pressed the backing in, and it was sticking out. The little teeth were sticking out, so I just trimmed it off with my scissors, and I'm going to use that later. I just kind of set it there for now. So I'm going to Mod Podge my cheesecloth down to the canvas. One thing that I don't like is the shininess that the Mod Podge left behind, but I tried to hide some of it with a little bit of watered down gesso. As I'm adding more layers of paint and stuff to it, but there is a little bit left in there, but it's okay. It doesn't show too much. I just didn't like that I can see all of it after I was done here with adding the cheesecloth there. Even heat setting it, it was still shiny, and I didn't like it. You can see some of it there. Some more butter pecan. And this is Daffodil by Making Memories, or Fresh Anthology / Daffodil is what it said. So I'm using a mixture of the two, and I want to dingy up my cheesecloth to kind of make it stand out a little bit more. I'm going to use my wipey, and that'll help a lot, in my spray bottle of water, and that'll help with getting it, like watering it down, spreading it better, and kind of highlighting my areas, the chevrons up at the top there, and I did a little bit there at the bottom. So it's not all so bright, it still tones it down just a tad. See how I'm not wiping off any of the blue, because that blue has been dried already and stuck down, so that's why I like it. And I wanted to try some of the chalk paint. This is Tin Can. I was trying to get it so you can see it. And I'm going to brush some of this on and do some splatters with the ink of it. And it is chalky, so if you touch it after it dries, you can see some of it on your finger. I don't like that too much, but it is chalking. So I'm going to do touches of gray in some areas and actually do like a water marking on the blue here of the paper layers. A little bit more, because I want to do a little bit of splatters. And I decided I wanted to do a couple of big drops, so I did a little bit more. I kept going to it because I really wanted to use this gray. I love the color tone of it. So there's 3-4 drops or so of the tin can color of the chalk ink. And setting it, it left a really cool dark outline of gray around that watered down droplet. So it did leave a really nice texture. I liked it. So I'm just going to dry it up really well. And here is some of the twine that I got from Laurie's shop at our Art Fire store. She has quite a bit of stuff. She's starting to carry some Prima stuff and some handmade stuff that she's been making. So I believe she still has some of this twine. So if you guys want to grab yourself some, there's tons on this, on that little card. And I have 2 of them actually, because I knew that I was going to use it a lot, and I do. I use it quite a bit. So that little chipboard teacup there is from the Lifetime collection. It is the cardboard or chipboard die cut. They are adhesive backed, but I did add some chipboard on the back of it because I wanted to lift it just a little bit. And here's my adhesive. I think this is my Beacon 3-in-1. This stuff works so good. Here's my popsicle sticks, you guys. Actually, they are waxing sticks I found at Sally's Beauty Supply. If you guys want to play with some popsicle sticks, the Tim Holtz scissors cuts them really, really, really well. So I just cut them I cut them in the natural state that they were. I ended up painting them, didn't like it, painted it 4 or 5 different times, ended up covering it with white gesso, and then I ended up leaving it white. But if I knew that I was going to end up doing that, I would have never painted them and left them just as you see them right there. So I'm going to add my little eyelets just for a little bit more interest, a little bit more texture, using glossy accents. And now I'm going to start gluing down some of this is some lace, some scallop fabric lace that it was given to me by Miss Beverly at the Piece by Piece when I went to visit her in California. When I took my trip this last summer down to California, I stopped by northern part of California with my family, with my kids and my mom and dad, and we went to go visit her. And I have that video here on my channel. You might be able to do a search for Visit with Beverly at the Piece by Piece. And you'll see us talking there, and I'm shopping at her shop. So she gave me a huge goodie bag, and there was some of that lace there. So thanks, Beverly, for that. I appreciate it. Finally got to use it. Large Prima flower. And I'm starting to tack some stuff down, and I put that flower on the side because I decided I wanted to break up this yellow cream white cluster of flowers with that light blue flower that I found. I think it was from the Jack and Jill collection. It's about 2 or 3 years old. Really cute little kids collection, paper collection. So I still had it, and I remembered it. So I'm just tacking some additional layers of paper back there, and I'm going to do a tiny cluster of flowers, complementing the larger cluster at the bottom left there of the photograph. So I'm going to add these 3 here together, and there's the other gear that I pulled out of the packet. I'm just trying to glue it really well. I'm going to use the dimensional foam adhesive to prop that little cutout out. We'll prop it up. I'm tacking down just some additional little pieces here. Needed a little bit more in my mind, so I added some Prima flowers, some more of them along the vine, and I added some sugar dots too. Can't see them right now. Let me see. I don't even know if I showed it or not, but there's some Wild Orchid Crafts. I think it's Dove Gray 20mm open roses. I think I added 2 or 3 on the layout. Needed another button, another pop of beige. I did a little bow, but I ended up taking it apart, and I just did the knot because the bow was hiding the little flower, the little bird, and I really didn't want to hide the bird. So I just did a knot, and that's kind of it. Okay, I forgot the title. Their word "us" is on the little bulb, and I end up spelling out "girls" here, and that's my layout. There's more detailed pics and product information over on my blog at thejulebox.com, and you'll see the links below. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. Laurie, I'm so glad that you liked everything. Have a great day, you guys. Bye.